Hi guys, okay, today let's talk about a good thing to do in these winter days. Now we're right here at the break point. Winter down here in the south is almost over. I know you guys up north, you got another couple of months of it, but it's going to turn off like that down here. And we'll have cold snaps and warm, but our good cool weather. In fact, it was 31 this morning, and they're saying that in the coming few days it's going to be 70s for the high and lows like 63. So hey, but what I want to talk about is leather treatment right now, because our heaters and stuff in a home can dry out leather. And when we talk about leather gloves or our really good leather sheaths, now I get my sheaths from stitchgear.com. Randy Smith, good friend of mine, he makes mine, and I want this to be, these are not cheap, so I want them to be an investment that's going to last me the rest of my life. So I need to take care of them. And so one of the things I like to do in the winter is take a little time and do a little bit of leather treatment on all my knives that's got leather sheaths, my leather belts, anything that's got leather involved in it, boots. Now's the time to touch them up, because hunting season's about ending. It's about time now to think about spring camp outs and stuff like that, and I want my gear ready to go. Now, these are my old military gloves. These things are probably 35 years old, and yet they're still perfectly usable. I still use them in the field for briars, for etc., especially when I'm gathering firewood in the brush. These will ride in my pack and in my Nighthawk rucksack. That pocket in the back where the pad goes in, that's where these ride. That way if I need a pair of gloves for something in the fire or whatever, I can grab them. But you want to keep this leather supple. You don't want it to dry and crack out, so you need to put some sort of treatment. Now, neat's foot oil works well, and then there's mink oil and a few other leather treatments, even snow seals. Depending on you guys up north, you may want to use that. But something that I've been using for a couple of years now is actually in the hair care product, and it's called Murray's 100% pure Australian beeswax. Right there, it's in the hair care department. It seals and conditions. It's for putting on hair for people who have hair they braid and things like that. That's what this is for. But it works perfectly fine for what I'm doing. Now I just keep a little rag in here. And I'm going to take that rag out, and it's already got loaded up with some of it. And it's yellow beeswax. It's got some sort of softener in it so that it doesn't get hard. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to put a little bit in the palm of that glove. Not much, it doesn't take much. And then I'm going to put the gloves on. And then I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to rub it in, stretching and working all them shapes to make sure I get it fully into it. Do the back, do the front. If it gets a little dry, add a little bit more. I don't want a lot, I just want a little. I want a coating. Now this helps waterproof these gloves because of the beeswax. It also makes them supple and seals them up. They don't smell bad or anything like that, and keeps them where they're going to function and work for me whenever I need them. Now they're going to be a little bit sticky when I get done. Of course, that's fine. They stick together real nice, like that. And then I'm going to probably put them out here in the sun for a little bit and let them just dry a little bit more. Now they're not going to quit ever being, they're going to have a little bit of a touch to them. But that's fine. I'm not cleaning my eyeglasses with them. I'm grabbing firewood, I'm grabbing briars, I'm grabbing that hunk of wood out of the fire I got to move. That pot handle or whatever. That's going to help, and I don't care if it's a little bit. See? It's also a source where if I'm waterproofing like a piece of wax canvas, and I get a place that's wants to drip, I can wad that up and rub that, and that's an applicator right there too, ain't it? For my leather sheaths, all I'm going to do is just put a little bit on. A little bit goes a long way, like that. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to bear down. Now I'm going to rub and generate a little bit of heat with my thumb and rub it into all them pores. This is an investment, these knife sheaths like this, and I want this knife sheath, especially on the end grain, to last me the rest of my life. Now, I am sure there are other care products out there that will do just as good a job, and I don't dispute that. But just understand, this is what I use because it's cheap and available. I think that little tub was like $2-3. That was it, and there's a lot of preserving in that. But that's how for the last several years I've done my leather sheaths, belts, and stuff like that. Take the time to do a little bit of maintenance, especially on this belt loop. Make sure all those edges are sealed, because this knife is hanging up in a room and there's heaters going, your central heating air or whatever, and that dries out the air, so that whenever the humidity drops down to 20% in a dead winter, when you got that Arctic air, and then your pump is pulling out even more, that's one of the reasons our noses get to where they feel kind of stuffy, because there's no air. Well, that's drying out those leather sheaths too, those leather gloves, that leather belt hanging there, and when it dries out, it cracks, because this used to be a hunk of skin. There is a moisture content to it, so I need to seal it. Plus, by putting this beeswax stuff on there and rubbing it real good, like I said, bear down, rub, generate a little bit of heat. I get it into the pores, it's going to bead water. So when I got this on my side and I get caught in that downpour, it's not going to get soft. It's going to retain its stuff, because water's going to bead and run off of it. Same thing with my gloves. I want them to remain supple and usable. I don't want to have to replace gear simply because of lack of maintenance. So, what I recommend everybody to do now, it here being in the winter is a good time to do some maintenance. On that day when it's cold and nasty, and you really don't want to go outside, but it's a day off, what am I going to do? Let's do something fun. Dig out that pack, go through your gear, look for fraying, look for tears, look for that button that's about to come off. Make sure that zipper is running well. Take a chapstick, plain old chapstick, get one that ain't got the funky colors, and do the zippers to lubricate the zippers. Make sure the zippers run good. Bring out your boots, get a coating on them if they're needing to be waterproof. If they're not, just make sure everything's good, no busted seams. Now's the time to find out before you get that opportunity to go out on that 3-day thing and then half your gear's got a problem. I've been there. I know a lot of people that's been there. We were going on a 3-day canoe trip down the river, me and a friend. And he was going to be in his canoe, I was going to be in mine. And he had this knife in this leather sheath. And that sheath, which he wore daily at work, he didn't do any kind of maintenance on it. He was interested in the knife, but not the sheath. And we had dropped off, the person left the car, we've got like 60-something miles to go to get back home. And the second time he got out of the canoe, he hung that knife sheath somehow, and it ripped like it was made out of paper. And we had to take duct tape to plug it up, and it was simply because that old leather sheath had dried out. It was brittle. You could bend it and it cracked. So he's got to now, when we get back, invest and get into the sheath, because this one's gone. See? But if he'd simply kept that leather supple, where it would have bent a little bit rather than cracking automatically, where it would have scratched instead of tearing, he didn't. I went through gloves when I was a young man, because we worked hard, until I met an old man that worked doing putwood, and I worked for him for a while. And he had a pair of gloves that did nothing but work with him. They stayed with the truck. Those were his work gloves. He said they're 5 years old. I worked for him for one summer, and I went through 3 pair of gloves. He still had the same pair of gloves he'd had 10 years, and was still working with them every day. But on a rainy day, when we were sitting there in the truck waiting for the rain to let up so we could get back out there, he'd reach under the seat, he brought out some sort of something, globbed it on, and he sat there and went to work in his gloves. It was simple maintenance, and simple maintenance on the edge of the knife, on the straps, on keeping your leather stuff good, Making sure that your stoves are clean, are going to work when you get out there. Making sure your fishing reels are ready to go. Your hunting gear is ready to go. Winter is the time to do maintenance. And that's the best time to me to go do the maintenance, get it set up, because when spring gets here, I want to be doing the fun stuff. I don't want to be sitting at the house having to do maintenance. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.